Imagine losing your sister, sinking into a deep depression, and then 4 months later you lose your mom, and you gotta fight for your life to keep your sister's kids together.
So December 30th, the day went by as normal as I thought it did. We were all chatting in a group chat all day like we usually do. It was just my mom and all four of her kids. We all just used to chat in the group chat all the time. And that's how we communicated. Especially like, I think that group chat got created during the pandemic, like in 2020. So after that, that's just the way we all communicated through the group chat. And, everybody was talking, laughing, making jokes and stuff like that. And then we got on the subject about my sister's youngest child, who my mom had adopted, um, what we were going to do for her birthday. And so I had already brought her some shoes and stuff, some shoes and clothes. I had already brought her that, and I had posted in the group chat what I had ordered. Um, and usually when I order my niece stuff, I have it shipped directly to my mama's house. Um, I just don't like stuff coming into my house sometimes because I be afraid somebody gonna take it. So I usually have it like shipped directly to my mom's house because my mom used to work from home. She didn't have to go in the office. So I know that somebody will always be home at her house. So I would have it shipped to her. And my sister had responded that she was going to get the cake. And after that, it was kind of like the group chat had like stopped because nobody was really responding in the group chat anymore. Um, so I was like, well, maybe everybody was getting ready for bed. It was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. So um, I just went ahead and went to bed. So the next day, everybody started responding again to the group chat. So we were chatting in the group chat. But then we started noticing like 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. had went by, and my sister hadn't responded in the group chat. So we were all thinking it was kind of odd at first. Um, but by 3 p.m., we were all calling her phone, just blowing up her phone because my mama started getting worried. So my mom actually lived closest to my sister, and because she hadn't responded to any phone calls and she hadn't messaged in the group chat, my mom started calling us individually, asking did we speak to her or hear from her, and I had said no because I hadn't heard from her since the night before in the group chat. So yeah, so after my mom seen that like nobody had spoken to my sister, she started really getting worried because she was like, this ain't like her. And she knew that my sister was trying to go out or something. That's the reason why we wasn't watching her kids, because we thought by us not watching her kids that she'll just stay home, because with her health condition, she did not need to be like outside, y'all. She didn't need to be drinking or nothing. So we all had said no. So she had asked one of her friends to watch the kids. And so I guess the girl had said yeah, and they was over there at her house. And she had told us that, I think in the group chat, that they was at her house. So we was like, okay, but my mom kind of was mad too, because she was like, why would she send them over there, and why is it so important for her to go out? Because that's what my mom automatically assumed, that she was going to go out and drink and stuff like that. And so, anywho, my mom eventually had said that if my sister don't respond around 4 or 5, she was going to eventually go around to her house because she was the closest to see what was going on. And so she did, because my sister never responded. So when she made it round there to her house, because literally my mom stayed about 5 minutes away from her, not even 5 minutes probably. And so when she made it there, she seen my sister's car was back in. It was kind of crooked in the parking spot, but she was back in. So my mom was like, well, she got to be here. So she went and knocked on the doors. But my sister never responded, never came to the door or anything. So my mom, she always like kind of investigate stuff more. Just like I would. We Leos, we be investigating stuff. So she started walking around all the windows, trying to see if she could see in there, to see if she was, in the house. So at first she couldn't see anything, but she was able to look in this one crack in her vertical blinds, which was attached to her back sliding door, because she had 2 sliding doors. One was to the living room and one was to her bedroom. So my mom, she could see through the vertical blind that my sister was sitting on the couch. So my mom's kept trying to knock to see if she get up, but she never got up. My mom not thinking like something wrong. She just think that she sleep. So she tried to open the sliding door, but it didn't open at first. And then she thought that it was the other one that was to her bedroom was locked, because she usually put this little stick thing down to lock it up. And for some odd reason, it was not locked. So she was able to get in. So she opened the slide door and she went through my sister's bedroom and walked over to her to the living room, and she tapped her like, girl, get up, because she thought she was just asleep. And then she realized that my sister was gone. She said my sister was cold, and she just knew she was gone. And she said her hands was like clenched down into the couch. Like you could see her handprint in the couch, and it looked like she was trying to get up. So my mom immediately, like, she was screaming and crying and stuff like that. And she told, I think, one of the neighbors, because her upstairs neighbors always was on the porch. So she asked them to call the ambulance or the police or whatever. But she was like just crying hysterically. And her husband called me in the midst of her crying hysterically. And when he called me, I honestly didn't understand a word that he was saying, but I can hear my mom screaming. Like, I never heard my mom scream like that. I never heard her cry like that. So when I heard her screaming and crying like that, I immediately knew what was wrong. I knew that my sister was gone. So I hung up on him, and I hung up on him, and I literally just started screaming and screaming and screaming. And then my husband ran to me, because I think I was on the toilet when her husband called me. He ran to me and to see what was wrong, and I had just started crying and telling him, that my sister had passed away. And he was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I said, yeah, my mama husband had just called me. And then after that, a little time had went by and my sister called me and said the same thing. So I immediately started trying to get myself together to get out there.